Hello, welcome back to St Michael's Hill. This is part 3 of the series upgrading this Lima Class 33. We've already had a look at the buffer beams and also adding a DCC chip. If you haven't seen those videos, check out the cards here and you'll be taken to part 1 and part 2. Part 3, we're going to have a quick look at the couplings on the front and rear of the locomotive. More so the front. I think we definitely need to do something there. The current coupling is fouling the new buffer beam. The rear of the locomotive is okay if we want to leave it that way. I will have a quick look with some stock and see what the how close the coupling is on that. And a decision will be made on whether to leave it or replace it with another type of coupling. The job is made a little bit more difficult because of the snow plough. So, as you can see, the way that Lima have attached this is a screw that actually fits into the coupling. It might end up being a fairly crude job where we just completely remove the tension lock coupling and just leave it enough on so this snow plough can stay fixed. The what's left will be covered up by detailing and probably won't be noticed at all by the time that the locomotive is finished. On the other end, like I said, it's a similar thing. If we're going to attach another type of coupling, if we're going to attach another coupling, either kind of a smaller Bachmann or Hornby one, I'm just going to need to work out how that needs to be done. It might involve adding some sort of NEM pocket or something like that. Or I might just leave it as it is, depending on the clearance to other wagons and how it's going to look. Most of the time this will be hauling something, so it probably won't be as noticeable, but I will have a quick look at what is available. So the first thing that I'm going to do at the lead end is to remove the snow plough. It's just a simple screw that comes out. There we go. So we can see there that there is a little bit of room in front of that that we can just take off the coupling. So I'm going to quickly take apart the body shell, remove this bogie, and then we'll be able to work on that far easier. The front bogie has now been removed, so we can see where we need to cut. It's going to probably be a fairly quick job, probably a cut through each of these side bits, and then the front, and then remove this pin. And then we should be good to go. The important thing is just going to be able to keep this front square in place for the snow ploughs. So there we go, the coupling has been removed. I just now need to pop the snowplow back on and see how it works. Just check the clearance on the track and it's all good. It's just a case of sticking the bogie back on. Now quickly, I spent a while, maybe stupidly, not getting this the first time I did this with a Lima locomotive. With the pin that falls through to the unmotorised bogie, you just pull that back up. It's spring loaded, so you just need to pull it up and it tapers out where this clip can clip in, and then you're good to go on that one. So I'm very happy with kind of how that looks. I'm just going to place the body shell back on, making sure that the unmodified buffers are at the correct end without the coupling. That generally looks a lot better, but I'm still finding that there is a little bit of fouling just from some of these very small plastic ends here. I'm not sure if it's showing up on camera. So I'm just going to clip those off, and then I think should be good to go. And there we go. I'm very happy now with the clearance that we've got there. And it looks a lot better. Now having a look at the coupling, I'm trying to see if there's going to be an easy way to attach a smaller Bachmann coupling on the other end. I think to keep the snow plough intact, it might be possible. It's just a case of if we can fit a smaller coupling flush onto here. I will try and pick one up and have a few experiments and let you know what I decide on that front. So having had a look at the coupling that's in place and the one I've removed, I think I can get one of these Bachmann small tension lock couplers on. It's just a case of how that's going to look and how that's best to be done. So I think I'm going to just, instead of using a pocket, literally trim these legs off and then fit it directly to the front of the bogey, which currently has the coupler on it. So I'm going to do the same process as I've done before in terms of removing it, and then slot this one on the front with some strong glue. So first of all, I'm just going to simply cut these legs straight off of here. Okay. I just want to make sure this edge is nice and clean as well. Quite happy now that that's a straight edge, and we'll take glue and stick to the front. Just going to remove the body shell again, free up this bogey, and then I can make the adjustments as required. As it's the motor bogey and everything's wired up, I'm going to try and do this without removing the bogey from the chassis. We'll see about how that goes. I will remove the snow plough though. So exactly the same before, I'm going to go for the same sorts of cuts, which I believe were down here, and the same on the other side. And then I don't need to be as close with these, just cut these off, and that's the tension lock coupling removed. So what I plan to do now is just glue this new coupling straight onto here with some strong glue, and hopefully it will be lovely. I'm just going to check clearance with a few wagons and see where we go from there. I've decided to use Gorilla Super Glue for this, so I've just applied a little bit from a cocktail stick onto the coupling and also onto the locomotive itself, and then I'm going to just fix that straight on. So I'm really pleased with how that's come out. As you can see, the coupling is at the perfect height and should give us the perfect clearance when we put the body shell back on. The super glue went on quite easily. It just needs to hold the coupling in place, and then added a little bit more on top. You can see a little bit on the join, but I think that will be hidden by the body shell once it's in place, and I'll probably add a little bit of detailing to that end as well. So now this is the final thing. I'm very pleased with the front end, and then as we come around the back, you can see that the coupling's nice and close, and certainly a lot less visible than what was there before, so I'm massively pleased with it. Thank you for joining me today on St Michael's Hill. The next part of this series is going to be looking at the flush glazing. So at the moment, as you can see, there's actually no glazing in it at all. I've taken it out and haven't bothered putting it back in. I'll look to fit the flush glazing, and that will probably complete the model, other than some detailing parts onto the buffer beams, and then also some weathering to bring it more in line with this EWS wagon that's had a bit of a light weathering. So that's everything from me today. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.